नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र बोलू क्या? Okay, so doctor before me gave a very wonderful presentation on antivenom and treatments for poison. I would say, before you get to the stage that you would need extreme treatments for extreme poisons, why don't we condition ourselves so that we can digest, cope and counter any such poison, toxins, emotional, psychological, physiological, biological, anything that we confront, and make ourselves invincible, be in the state of invincible health. Health, as we all understand, is not a medical condition which someone said, the lady said, which is absence of disease. This is the lowest denomination of explanation. Health is not a condition. Health should be the state. And the state health means the word H-E-A-L, heal. The state of healing. T-H, heal them, heal thy, heal thou. So health is a state, not a condition, because conditions can change, state remains. State remains. And in this condition where you are healing and beginning to heal yourself, the most primary and fundamental thing is not just the body, but lots about the invisible spirit, the invisible mind, which could be attitude. Very important for health. For every healing, an attitude of optimism is fundamentally important. An attitude of being optimistic. People say that let's be positive, let's be positive. I would say positivity is very good, but it can drive you crazy, because positivity each time doesn't give you 100% results, because we simply don't control everything. So there are disappointments, there is dejection, and then it is very difficult for you to accept that despite being so positive, you had a failure. So best is to be optimistic. Your attitude, a shift of paradigm from being positive, just become optimistic. Because in optimism, you will accept responsibility. In optimism, you will look out for solutions, creative, productive, healthy, harmonious, non-aggressive solutions. So first of all, the most important thing to heal is optimistic attitude. Number two, spoken words, grace, compassion, very important for healing, because in healing there is resonance. Healing is all about vibratory frequencies of your functioning, the orchestration of your body, mind, spirit. So healing is at what vibratory frequency your heart is functioning, your lungs are functioning, your stomach is functioning, your endocrine system is functioning, your nervous system is functioning, your faculties are functioning. And it is the symphony of the orchestration of all the functions put together, which are in absolute tandem with each other. So that's the vibratory frequency of your health, which we call homeostasis, equilibrium. That we are made of 5 elements, it's a no-brainer. So the first element is Akasha, that's ether. The primary for healing is ether. Number 2, the second subtle is Vayu, very important factor for healing. The third subtle is water. Of course, 70% of us is water, 80% of our brain is water, 70% of the earth is water. Water, the movement of water through the sun and the moon and geomagnetic forces influences our wellness, because we also have water. So the density of our body fluids is almost the same of that of the ocean also. So water, then fire. And after fire, of course, the earth, gravity. Now these are the 5 elements and 5 forces, which when in absolute proper ratio, which is defined and determined by doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, then your vibratory frequency of your being is said to be in homeostasis, in sound health. So when we say sound health, it is organic soundness. And when we say organic, it is the unity, the unison. It is the oneness. It is the feeling of integration, complete, wholeness. And there's a Rig Veda saying which says, this is complete, that is complete, wholeness leads to wholeness. And if wholeness is taken away from wholeness, still remains wholeness. So there is no plus and minus to wholeness. It is a state of being. And that state of being is state of being composed. If a person bitten by a snake or a scorpion is hyper, will succumb faster. If a person bitten by a snake or a scorpion is completely composed and relaxed, will survive. That will promote the antidote first from within the body, then we will receive from outside. How many of you agree with me? In the state of absolute equilibrium, your body is the world's finest pharmacology to produce any biochemistry in the need of the hour to confront, cope and conquer the state of dis-ease. So primary healing has to start with the state of mind, your physiology, because if your mind is completely calm, your physiology is calm. And when your physiology is calm, the physiology works on instincts, on intelligence, self-correct, self-maintain, self-repair mechanism which is there due to the intelligence collected by of 14 billion years. So, primary is healing, and no healing is better than healing yourself. Which is why when you read a line called healthy self, that should be read as heal thyself. You and only you can heal you first. Rest is secondary, tertiary. So, breathing heals you. Conscious, rhythmic breathing. Any state of disease is first a part of your consciousness. And then it manifests into your body. Breathing corrects the state of consciousness, makes you aware. So automatically, with rhythmic breathing, the rhythm, circadian rhythm of the body is absolutely in place. And the circadian rhythm is nothing but simply corresponding with the geomagnetic forces. Corresponding, we use the word corresponding, but I'm explaining the word corresponding with the sunrise, phases of the moon, tides of the ocean, seasons, weather, everything that we are a part of as an environment that heals us and corrects us. So breathing becomes primary. After breathing, the second most important exercise, and breathing also changes your mindset. If you are in a regulated breathing condition, anger will not come to you easily. You will not make wrong decisions. The lust quotient will be much less, whether it's for food, sex, sense-sex. Because breathing will make you realistic. Breathing will take away the greed. Breathing will bring compassion. Because when your heart is functioning at the right vibratory frequency, only compassion will flow, anger will not. Only a sentiment of giving will flow, receiving and snatching not. Holding and collecting not. So breathing is very primary. Breathing also, you must understand, makes you creative. So when we say that we need solutions in life, we should say we need creative, harmonious solutions in life. Because there are solutions available which are destructive, aggressive, violent, we certainly don't want solutions which will create a million problems. So, one of the bane of the allopathy is, while it fixes one problem, it disturbs some others. And of course, I am very sure that medical science is a boon, and all doctors are representatives of gods, and my gratitude to all doctors here. And one day medical science will arrive at absolutely natural, organic, pinpoint, specificated medicine. That day is not far. With technology available, understanding our Vedic Shastras coming out again, World Health Organizations and Occidental medicine giving a deep look to Ayurveda and embracing so many things and accepting it as integrated medicine now. So, because they were against complementary medicine, because they were against alternative medicine, so now the acceptance has come in the form of integrated medicine. It is simply recognizing the natural systems of healing, the natural modalities of healing. And natural modalities of healing, once again, are primary. So, one is breathing, second is ahar. Ahar is food, nutrition. And I would say, much before I talk about any food, I never talk about food in terms of protein, carbohydrate, fats, all nonsense. Food is food. When I talk about a person, I will not talk about the person's shoulders, hands, legs, mind, heart. I will talk about the person, the wholesome subject. Food is not an object, it is subject. And food also has a vibratory frequency because it has life inside, because it gives you life, a life force. So for me, primary nutrition would be sunshine. Absorbing sunshine, aligning with sunshine, synchronizing your cycle with your sunrise and sunset. Primary nutrition, that is cosmic nutrition. My second nutrition would be breath. This nourishes me also, my breathing. My third nutrition would be a state of joy, cheer, love, compassion. It nourishes me. My fourth, fifth would be deep rest, meaningful rest. A rest that heals, a rest that repairs, a rest that restores, a rest that rejuvenates. Rest is also healing, so it becomes nutrition. Because rest nourishes you. Then of course, I would go out for actions, words, deeds, gratification, creativity, everything nourishes you. Now I will come to food nourishment. So after first 10 cosmic nourishments, then we can talk about 11 food nourishment. So as much natural, as much wholesome. As much natural, as much wholesome. As much alive, as much not destroyed in cooking. Because food needs to be made, not cooked. Only our brains can get cooked. Food has to be made. And the nutrients in the food have to be maintained. And the food has to be eaten with absolute compassion, appreciation, gratitude, and it is now proven that all your emotional aspects of your being, including gratitude, compassion, philanthropy, they create resonance. Resonance creates vibratory frequency that is healing, happy, fulfilling, contentment, trupti. In the state of happiness, joy, contentment, trupti is maximum healing and nourishment. Then your body is able to absorb 100% out of the food that you eat. Otherwise, you may be eating the best food, but not in the right mindset. You will only get 10% out of it. So eat it in the right mindset with gratitude, appreciation, joy, and be only in eating. When you are eating, you should be eating. When you are working, you should be working. Being total is very important. Being complete, wholesome in whatever you do at that particular time increases the value addition of the task that you are doing. The karya. Your karya becomes your karma. When you become total, it becomes karma. When you are not total, you are outside the bounds of karma. Karma is not simply good, bad, ugly. Karma is the movement of life which is recorded in the Akarshik universal records, which we call super consciousness. The Occidental science is now calling it supra consciousness, where everything is recorded and everything stays in multi dimensions. All information, all energy and information is there eternal. All we need to do is tap into it. So, eating as much raw. Why? Have you realized why? Food brings intelligence. Food brings wisdom. Eating a carrot, eating an apple, a tomato, beetroot, pomegranate, the best of all. Then everything, your nuts, your dry fruits, your veggies. Now, when you eat them in raw state, what happens to you? How does food grow? It grows in farms, on trees, in farms. Got it? Now the food gets the best of nutrition, minerals from the earth, the best of water, distilled well, filtered in the earth. It gets sunshine, 365 days or sometimes 2 years or whatever the cycle of the food is. Straight, purest sunshine. It also witnesses the planetary movements of the universe. So the planetary vibration is also available, synchronized, assimilated in that food. So when you consume a food happily, consciously, it translates into intelligence, wisdom, creativity, nourishment, vitality, immunity, and the list you can go on and go on. So food that is alive is plant-based, agriculture-based, sattva gun, we call it sattva. It brings creativity to fore, it brings compassion to fore, it brings productivity to fore because food influences your mind. Jaisa an, vaisa man. The father of medicine, Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine. And if food heals you, probably you may not need any other medicine. So let your food heal you. So vegetarianism is a way to health. If you want to be healed, then vegetarianism is the way. No animal eating can ever heal you. It can strengthen you. You can become like a buffalo, like a bull, like a lion. Or you can also become like a snake and sting people. Only a human is capable of rising above gods and falling below animals. Only a human being is capable of rising above gods and falling below animals. And this can happen with your conscious choices that you make in life. Your conscious choices will determine the outcome. Whatever you seed today will be the fruit tomorrow. Everything that you do today, you will have to counter it, confront it tomorrow. So food should be wholesome, natural, cosmic nutrition first, actual nutrition later, to be eaten with in gratitude, dinner to be finished by sunset as much possible. Breakfast, try and be as many fruits, lots of brews, lots of herbal teas. Throughout the day, herbal teas. Try and eat as per season, as per climatic condition. Try and eat as per your occupation needs. If you have to do a lot of desk job, you cannot eat mountains of rice and rivers of curry. Because otherwise, got it? You'll feel very drowsy. So you have to eat food which will liberate energy, not take away energy. So eat intelligently, eat sensibly, be aware when you eat. When you eat in awareness, the satiety in your hypothalamus will be relaxed. Trupti will come fast. Have you ever heard anybody overeating a fruit? No, because satiation comes faster. Anything that you eat, consume naturally and slow. Ice cream you can overeat. But a fruit, one can never overeat. A very delicious salad, you can never overeat. Because the process of eating, you will really go through the salad and chew it well. But ice cream you eat ghapa, as if that's the last ice cream and this is the only ice cream available now. है कि नहीं? मुझसे भी गलती होती है, मैं भी इंसान हूं. So, eat in awareness. Am I eating the right? What will it do to me? 4 to 5 breaths. And then approach your food with love and gratitude. Then see, food does magic. Food can become magician. And then you can become a magician. Because the influence of the food will make you a superhuman being. So coming to food, now let's go to exercise. Now exercise is, how does exercise your mind? Because the focus of the exercise and the awareness of exercise in the body brings you in here now. So when you get physiologically trained to be in here now, then you are mentally trained to be in here now throughout the day also. Because exercise exercises your mind. A yoga posture. Today people say, अरे क्या है चक्रासन में, पागल है क्या, 2 मिनट पकड़ के बैठता है, 3 मिनट पकड़ के, बस में फायदा क्या है? Because he is blind, he cannot see. You got my point? The faida, the benefit of any asana is so dynamic inside it cannot be seen. All creativity, force is invisible. While the manifestation process is on, you will never be able to see it. You will only see the end result. Can we see a tree growing? We can't. We can't see a tree growing every moment, but it is growing every moment. Can we see a pregnancy growing every moment? No. But from point 1 to the delivery state, it is growing every nanosecond, but we don't have eyes to see it because we haven't developed those eyes to see it. We have only clinical eyes. We don't have vision. We are blinded. 99.9% human beings on this earth are blind. So, yoga, in every posture, enjoying that posture, being in yourself, feeling total, the stretch, the contraction, the gravity, brings tolerance. The tolerance of the posture brings tolerance in your conduct, character. So that is training the mind, strengthening the mind. It is not making you stubborn. Yoga makes you flexible. As you open up your body, your mind becomes open too. And as your mind becomes open, healing happens. Because diseased are the ones who are closed in mind. Healthy are the ones who are open in mind. Instead of asking why, you must always ask why not. Why not is the transforming quotient. Why not does the magic always. Instead of asking what and how, always ask why. Because why brings the philosophy or ideology to fore. And in your philosophy and ideology to fore, your chart, your path is completely clear. You are not confused anymore. There is clarity. You are not blinded anymore. There is vision. And you are not weak anymore. There is confidence. Because you can see, you are confident. If I put you in a dark room, you will not be confident because you cannot see. The moment you develop eyes of consciousness, and the eyes of consciousness is a lovely poetry by William Blake. We are led to believe a lie because we see from and not through the eyes. For we are born in the night to perish in the night while our souls rest in the beams of light. We don't even layer below the layer, we don't even tap and access our soul software, which brings a lot of light to fore. The lady has come up not to hug me, but to tell me ke bhai, sampla tumsa, whale sampla. And like this, we are rushing and running through life. And rushing and running through life, you are not living every day, but you are dying every day. We are only taking a step forward every day towards our deathbed. Change the perspective. Become timeless. Try and bring creative solutions to life. Access your soul. Doesn't matter what religion you belong. Delve deep into yourself. Collect yourself. Every answer that you're looking for to every problem is within you. A Sufi poet, Rumi, says, how many of you have heard about Jalaluddin Rumi, Sufi? I've been living on the lips of insanity, knocking at the door opens, I've been knocking from inside. Last thing before I leave, a human being is very conscious. I'm reiterating that only a human is capable of rising above gods and falling below animals. You are on the ladder. Either climb up to evolution or climb down towards entropy. And time, matter, space, light, motion, mass, causation and effect are the forces of entropy. And on one hand, there is evolution. So every moment you are confronted with a choice, you choose entropy or you choose evolution. If we choose evolution, the human race will survive, Mother Earth will survive, the environment will survive, everything will flourish, everything will prosper. We are on the cusp of the golden era. Either we can get golden or we can slip into darkness. We have to decide. Thank you.
I thank Dr. Mickey Mehta. I really wish we were timeless so I could keep listening to you. You've really given us very valuable points.
Next time, devote one whole day only for me.
Sure. Sure, sir. So you've really given us very, very valuable points that we can incorporate into daily life for a holistic...
Just a small joke. So every time a corporation calls me that we need a speaker and we want you on, and then, of course, that's a professional engagement. So we talk about price. So then I said, okay, 1 hour, 2 hours, half a day. So then 1 hour is fine. Acha, when 1 hour is over, sir, half an hour more, please. Human nature. Anyway, thank you very much.
I really hope we can dedicate a whole day for you next time.
Haji?
I really hope we can dedicate more time for you next time.
Next year.
Sure.
Thank you. I thank the organizers for having me here. I bow and my respect to all the monks and sannyasins and sadhus who are here. Thank you very much, all the doctors. Thank you so much, all the Sant Mahatmas. And thank you, all the Guru from time immemorial who've been teaching us, guiding us, and sharing the light of life with us. Thank you.